I'm on a quest to find music and art. Supporting local talent is the place I start. Yeah, this is our culture, the place to be. Games, books, arts and crafts and jewelry. This the guardians of the geekery. 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 And now for today's episode of Guardians of the Geekery with your hosts, Matt, Carol, and Joey.
This is the Geekery podcast, the Geekery Market Edition, coming at you November 4th, 2023. Oh my gosh, 30,000 square feet of geeky goodness. Anything else you want to highlight? There's so much going on, Joey, but
yeah, just, again,
be there.
Be there. Free event. We just ask that you
there.
bring something for Second Harvest, a sustainable good, a non-perishable good, something that doesn't require a lot of extra ingredients to prepare.
Allegra?
No.
Oh,
no drugs.
Okay.
And then, if you can't bring a good or you forget it or you're like a Door Dasher, just $2. And there is a fee for parking. It is a debit credit card situation, so just be aware of that. But there are some places that take cash, some places that take cards. The great thing is this venue has an ATM on site. So you need a little more money, you can go get it. So but let's not get distracted by that. Let's go right over to Patrick Duggan of Distracted Dragons. So thank you so much for being here today, Duggan or Dugan.
Dugan.
I always Dugan. I need more coffee. I knew that it was Dugan until I said it. So oh look, there's a dragon. Don't get distracted. The Distracted Dragon. So you are not just a author. You are a 3D printer and definitely a collector, as we can see from behind you. So tell us a little bit about your books first, and then we can talk a little bit about your 3D printing.
So thanks for having me on. I'm really looking forward to the event. You guys run one of the best events we do all year, so really excited. Lots of great stuff. It's like definitely bring money. So this is started all. So this is Stormforge. This is my dystopian superhero novels. So set in the world of after the boys. So what happens when people are sick and tired of superheroes? Read this to find out. It ain't good. And then my steampunk mix of magic. So Quinn's a blacksmith, gets his arm cut off, has to build a new one to stop the bad guy. And then I've got a series that follows him in further adventures. Never Steal from Dragons. So this was my newest one.
Good advice.
This is cyberpunk heist book set in the world of fairies. So no humans were harmed, although I did not get a lot of sleep during it in making this book. So Galaxy has to get together a team of the top-notch thieves to break into a fortress that has never been broken into, and hijinks ensue, as they would do. So Ocean's 11 meets Matrix in Middle-earth. That's kind of that book. And then these are brand new. So this came out just after Dragon Con. Regina Kirby is Tuckerized in here. So if you want to see if she lives or dies, that's a good one. So this is Cowboy Bebop meets The Witcher. So it's set in a world where the monsters have destroyed almost everything. The races are huddled behind walls, and bands of adventurers go out and kill monsters for money. Lots of fun.
And you brought up a great tidbit that not everybody knows about, especially, we consider ourselves as the gateway drug of geekery. So if somebody doesn't know what a Tuckerization is, can you give a little backstory on that?
Sure. So Tuckerization comes from, I always forget the guy's name, but it is the...
I think it's Tucker.
Yeah, actually, I think it's just Tucker.
I was looking for the first name, but yeah. So some dude named Tucker, and so he was the first person ever, killed off in a book. And usually a Tuckerization is that you put somebody in and they die a horrible death. I Am Dead in one of John Hartness's Harker books. So it's a lot of fun for the authors. But what we've started doing is for Kickstarters and for charity auctions is a lot of times we'll put in a Tuckerization, and if you win, then you get to put your name in the book. Now the author gets to pick where you go in the book and how you die, or not die, as the case may be. So, but it's a great little Easter egg. If one of my friends, his son is in Machines and Monsters, and he shows everybody who knows that his name is in the book. So it's a lot of fun that we do.
Yeah, and it could be you, or you could donate to charity to have
To have
somebody
somebody
else,
you know.
somebody you know
If
killed
you
off.
don't want to die in the book, your
Regina
best
Kirby,
friend could die in the book.
Regina Kirby did the charity auction to get the Tuggerization, and then they did a live or die option. So she bought the second one because she said too many people were trying to kill her off. So so she wanted to choose her own destiny. So so that was a lot of fun.
So
So
she chose two so that she would have to live through at least one, right?
well,
So
she got to pick if she lived or died, and she swore me a secrecy. So now the book's out.
So
You
now
can
you
go
have to
read it and
buy
see
the
if she
book.
lives.
And how did you get started writing? Have you
Uh,
always been writing?
I've always been writing. So I went to school, got my biology degree, thought about being an author, was told that's a horrible idea, put it away for a couple of years, came back and just started writing. And then I finally got to the point, the kids were a little older, and I was like, I'm either going to write a book or I'm going to stop wasting my time. And so I wrote Stormforged. So it took 7 years to write Stormforged, but it got done. And my son always tells everybody he was the first beta reader because I would literally read him chapters at night before he went to bed. So
That's so
that was a
cool.
lot of fun. So and then John Hartnett said, "Oh, I need two more." I went, "Oh, sure. I think I can do that."
I don't have 7 years to write each one now.
Luckily, once I figured out what I was doing, I got faster. But now we're up to we're doing a Kickstarter in January with Darren Kennedy and John Hartnett. New books for a new year, and my new urban fantasy series will be debuting with that. It's called Stone Cold Witch. It's set in Asheville, North Carolina. The main character gives brew tours by day and is an elemental witch in a coven that stops things coming through the Nexus portals at night.
Wow.
So,
Well, I will ask my standard question before we get onto your 3D printing. I'll ask my standard author question.
Sure.
What are 3 tips you give new authors, or you would tell new authors to keep in mind as they start their journey in writing?
number one is if you rather be doing anything else, do that. If you want to be a woodworker, you want to vacuum cars for, writing is a really tough profession. It takes a lot of work, it's a lot of dedication, and it's a lot of rejection. So I usually tell people if you rather be sitting watching TV and have a social life, this is not what you want to do. Barring that, number one, the other tips I give are be kind to yourself. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. The book not being done, tomorrow isn't going to kill anybody. Just you have to give yourself some grace. There are times where I'll take a couple weeks off just to reset my brain. You don't have to write every day unless that was what works for you. And then the third one is network with other authors because you really need the support system. And I'm lucky to be in Charlotte because we have a million great authors, a couple New York Times bestsellers, Falstaff books, so it's really nice to have the support system. When you're ready to quit, everybody just nods and goes, "Yep, been there." So it's good to have the support.
Growing up in New England and, lived very near Concord, and, the Louisa May Alcott, a whole society of writers, and, all of the authors that used to hang out together. And as a kid growing up, like every field trip, everything is about, going to see the Man's on the Moss, and where everybody was buried, and, going and seeing Thoreau's tiny, tiny little cabin. If you haven't ever been there, like on Walden Pond, the cabin is ridiculously small. And if you look at like the number of nails he had to use, there are literally, the excavators have found like pots of bent nails in the ground. But anyway, that not to get distracted. But I always think of that ever since I moved down here to Charlotte, or moved up from South Carolina, but and met John and you and everybody. It's like that little group of authors again, and it's so cool to kind of feel like, even though I'm not like an active writer, I know a group of people like the ones I learned about in elementary school, and it's so cool. And so far, I haven't died in any of your books. I have been in a few of your books. I haven't died in any of them that I know of. I haven't read. Don't tell me. I haven't read the latest one I'm in, so don't tell me. So, but and that's not a challenge, by the way. Any authors watching this, I don't need to die. Thank you.
You probably don't want to read his next book, Die, Joey, Die. You want to read that one.
Joey dies in the end.
Joey dies in the end.
In the middle of a market, probably from sheer exhaustion. Oh, but anyway.
So books aren't your only thing. How did you get involved in 3D printing?
So I actually I like to do woodworking, so I bought a 3D printer to like actually help organize the shop, and then kind of it took over. It may have taken over our entire basement at this point, but so it actually is a great hobby for a writer because you put it on and you leave it alone, and it just does its thing. So the time commitment, getting it set up and working was a lot, but now I've got things pretty much dialed in. Although I have to repair a printer later today. But it just has it's a lot of fun, and you can do so much cool stuff with it. And I started printing them for friends and my son. I did the fidget dragons, and then everybody on Facebook wanted them, and it's just gone from there. So,
well, what are some of the things that you'll be bringing to the market?
I have lots of stuff. So a lot
Show
of
us fun stuff.
So I've got a whole new set of dice towers.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the Shogun.
And for people who don't know, dice towers are life because that way it just rolls down. You don't have to worry that you didn't roll hard enough. It doesn't go flying across the table.
Yep.
You don't have to like have an argument if the carpet holds it at an angle and you're like, is it a 3 or a 2? They're awesome.
18, so we're good. So then the Steampunk Kraken dice tower.
Nice.
Castle Grayskull.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then I really love these for the gamer on the go. Not too much.
Whoa.
But it just snaps back
Put
together.
Rapunzel up there. Yeah.
The door, if it wants to open today, which it's not, the dice comes down and rolls out the door.
Oh, sweet.
I don't have fingernails.
That's cool.
So, but it's nice because it condenses down to really small. And then I'll have a kind of a selection of different bookmarks. You can't really see the skull very well. So,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like those.
kind of Ghost Rider. And then, as always, I'll have the different kittens and elephants.
Wow.
And then these I actually have on my Etsy store, and they always do really well at Christmas time. So I'll have some of these Death Star
Ooh.
globes.
Nice.
Those.
So,
Yeah.
And then you guys have seen this one. This is the dice box, the Sleeping Dragon book. So you can put stuff in it. My camera's always higher than I think it is. And then to go along with it, I did some of these for Mara at Dragon Con. She did Daenerys. So, but they also open so you can hide your stuff in there.
That's awesome.
That is
I
awesome.
have all different colors of these. And then this is the bad boy that started all the articulating dragon.
Yes.
These are
And I think the thing that people don't realize is that actually prints as one piece, correct?
Yep, it prints in a circle. So,
Wow.
but and it's funny because people come and look and they're like, oh, they're cool. I'm like, oh, pick it up. Because once you get that, it's that kind of, articulating motion that just really makes it. And then, these I always carry. So these are my winged serpent dragons.
Ooh.
And the wings move up and down.
Nice.
But these are 24 inches long. So if you're looking for stuff for cosplay, these, or this is new for this season.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
This is the Imperial Dragon.
wow.
And he actually will sit sort of like yay, like on the table.
Oh wow.
Oh,
But he's a big boy. He's like 28 inches, I think.
I love those colors.
And again, those print all together. You have
Yeah.
to like line up the little colors and they do that, right? So
It comes on the filament that way. So it basically prints exactly like that. And then what everybody's been the most excited about, that I've been talking to, are these.
the lightsaber. Oh my god.
Collapsible lightsabers. So
Nice.
Yeah.
this one's Obi-Wan's. This is Mace Windu's.
Oh my gosh.
Purple, yeah.
And then just because, I went with Barbies.
Nice.
That'll be
The
a good
perfect mashup for the season, for
Yes.
sure.
So the Barbie lightsaber will be making its debut at Geekery as well.
How about some Ahsoka? Are you going to have any Ahsoka ones?
I don't know. Right now, I've just got to get everything printed. So
So, we have been asking everybody, are you doing pre-orders? If somebody wants to go on your Etsy store and buy something and then pick it up at the market, is
absolutely.
that an option that they have?
Yep, absolutely. So you can go to Etsy, which is Distracted Dragon 3D as the shop. Or if you're on Facebook, you feel free just to DM me and say, I need to place an order. So if I don't know you, I don't just throw you to spam. And I can take orders and have them at Geekery if they want to pick them up, if you want to avoid the Etsy problems. And some of the stuff like the lightsabers I don't have up on. If you do go to the Etsy store and you don't see what you want, just there's a custom print option. Just pick that and send me a message and we can figure out whatever you want.
That is amazing.
Nice.
So lots of fun stuff. And I've got a couple more designs. I'm doing some gingerbread men and women printed ornaments.
Oh,
That'll be fun. And a couple other things that I'm hoping to have time to print. So I should have a large selection plus all my books. So my lovely wife is going to come help me man the table because we got a lot of stuff this time. So last year we did the show and I think we had 6 items. This year we're going to have, I think it's 12 or 13 different things to buy.
Okay.
So and there'll be, things go from, a couple bucks for the bookmarks up to, $60, $70 for some of the big guys for the dice towers, which is still under what I see everywhere else. So on Etsy, they're either charging $20 for them because they're junk and they don't print well, or they're charging $200 because they're gouging market. So I try to stay kind of middle of the road with my prices. And if it's
Yeah.
not correct, I throw it out. So I don't sell prints that aren't good.
I was going to say, there was that time in the early days of 3D printing, and then I started seeing things at markets and stuff like this. And then there was a shift definitely to the higher quality items. But you were the first one I saw that had those higher quality 3D printing come out, and especially with the dragon that you showed earlier that Joey has behind her as well, on the corner there. But it just that was what really struck me. And then there were a bunch of people that seemed, I'm like they saw what you were doing, and I think you even shared some of the stuff, which was really nice of you. And then I saw a billion of them, but sometimes even I think they had the same pattern, but for some reason yours just were a little bit higher quality as far as I could tell. But anyway, I just want to give you a shout out because I think you were one of the pioneers, at least in this area. So
Yeah, we definitely
first one.
We definitely feel like 3D printing is the new and jewelry of the geekery market. Everybody wanted to add in like 3D printing, but we were very exclusive on who we did it. We only chose certified vendors like yourself. And I think there's only 1 or 2 other people that are selling anything 3D, and they're all different in different ways. Like Ben Mirabili, I think he paints on his, and
he designs his own stuff too.
yeah. So that's one of the things that we really looked at. But we definitely have gone to some shows this summer where it was like everybody had something and something 3D printed, and it was just like it's too much of the same. And like you said, I mean, there was a market this summer where, or a vendor room this summer where somebody had like a box full of all of their mess ups and were trying to sell that. And I was like, man, again, going back to Thoreau and his buckets of bent nails, like who wants that? Nobody wants that.
Oh,
So
and it really does. It takes, I'll run prints, 10, 15 times before I get them so that they're, okay to be sold. And I license with every designer that I sell. So, and I'm bending over because the dog is driving me crazy. And so
Yeah.
she's right here.
down
Angel's
here, like
here.
he's down here like, I want to get up. I'm like, no.
Mine are running crazy. So
Yes.
there's one.
It's just animals abound on Zoom. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I always make sure I have licensed materials that I sell, because the thing is that I don't want people stealing my books. I
Yeah.
don't want to be stealing people's designs. So, so I just try to be as above board as I can, with making sure that people are getting, their just dues, so that they're I actually MacGyver finally is going to a Patreon method, but I was one of 6 licenses in the world, and you literally had to take pictures of every part of your dragon and send them before he would give you a license. And I passed first try, and he was like amazed, because he said normally it takes 10 or 12 go back and forth with people before he gives a license. But I had spent all that time up front, so when when I sent him my license, he's like done. He was like, oh, that's so, but lots and lots of fun stuff. And the books are good. So
Well, thank you, Patrick, so
Yes.
much for taking some time to be with us today. If people want to find your books, where do they go?
the easiest way to find me is just go to Google and put in Linktree Patrick Dugan, and that'll take you to my Linktree site. It has every one of my social media, it has links to my Etsy store, to my bookstore, to everywhere I do business. So just a one-stop shop for everything Patrick Dugan.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. We will see you in just a
Indeed.
few short weeks, my friend.
No, it'll be here
Yes.
before you know it. I'll be
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'll be talking to you going, I've just got 3 more things to print. And you'll be like, put it in the car.
All right. Well,
Thank
you have
you.
a good day. We'll see you
Have
soon.
a great day.
Bye.
That was an episode of Guardians of the Geekery. Thank you for listening. Check us out at guardiansofthegeekery.com and stay tuned for more content.